In the top stories, St. Kitts and Nevis embraces efforts to abolish systemic racism. Brazil pushes for integration at South America Summit, and hundreds reportedly stuck in Ghana gold mine. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday newscast. Today is Wednesday, the 31st of May, 2023. I'm Jason Davis. Nationally, St. Kitts and Nevis's permanent representative to the United Nations, Her Excellency Ambassador Neris Dockery, says the Federation continues to embrace the efforts to abolish systemic racism. Ambassador Dockery made these remarks while addressing the second session of the Permanent Forum of People of African Descent, or PFPAD, on Tuesday at the UN headquarters in New York.
The abolition of systemic racism requires a systemic response, and St. Kitts and Nevis is proud to align itself with the CARICOM statement and to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters across the Caribbean community in making the call for reparatory justice and increasing our advocacy within the United Nations system to identify pragmatic steps towards its achievement. Reparatory justice for injury, loss, and damage caused by centuries of chattel slavery, native genocide, and deceptive indentureship is the defining cause of our time, to which we must dare to be worthy, especially as the International Decade for Persons of African Descent winds down. St. Kitts and Nevis therefore fully supports the extension of the International Decade for people of African descent for another decade. Change has been slow in coming, but change will come.
She noted that St. Kitts and Nevis, quote, stands solidly behind CARICOM's 10-point action plan, end quote, for reparatory justice.
St. Kitts and Nevis stands solidly behind CARICOM's 10-point plan that demands that the descendants of those perpetrators who benefited from slavery and the diabolical transatlantic trade in Africans must return to the scene of the crime, for there is a case to be answered. It also demands that the humanity of the persons of African descent who continue to experience the deleterious effect of that sordid system must also be acknowledged and affirmed, first by way of an apology, and then through the implementation of a radical social, political, health, education, and economic justice program.
In the context of the second session of the PFPAD, Ambassador Dockery challenged all participants to, quote, dare something worthy, end quote, adding that it, quote, was the rationale upon which the United Nations was built, end quote. The Permanent Forum on People of African Descent runs from May 30 to June 2. It's being held under the theme, Realizing the Dream, a United Nations Declaration on the Promotion, Protection, and Full Respect of the Human Rights of People of African Descent. It's been over a year since a fire destroyed a significant portion of the main compound of the Joshua Obadiah Williams Primary School in Molyneux, and the Ministry of Education has expressed to the Department of Public Works that in rebuilding the school, they want it to be modernized. This was disclosed by Director of the Public Works Department, George Gilbert, during the most recent edition of In Focus.
Yes, with the Joshua Obadiah Williams, we are getting ready to go to tender with that project. That project, initially when the school caught fire, our intention was just to rehab it as is, put it back as is, really take off the roof, clean up, new windows, new doors, and have it going in short order. But the school, the Ministry of Education, they said no, that school is the oldest school in the Federation and is not meeting the standard of a modern school. So what they wanted is to take the opportunity to upgrade the school.
He also mentioned what modernizing the school entails.
So now they want the school to have, let's say, 2 doors for each classroom, electrical in the classrooms, because this classroom had no electricity but the lights alone in the roof. So they want the classrooms to be, electrical. They want them to reflect a modern school. So we had to do some addition to the school, upgrade to the school. We increased the kindergarten size, and we have done a number of work when it comes to the design. We did some preliminary design. We met with the education department, the management, and also the staff, the senior staff at the school. We had a discussion. They looked at our plan. They made some input. And then we go back to the drawing board. We made the adjustments. We came back to another meeting with them. The ministers were there, the Minister from Education, Minister from Public Infrastructure were there. And we discussed again, and then we move ahead. After we agreed on the design, then we move ahead with the working drawing.
Mr. Gilbert noted that the Public Works Department is 98% done with the working drawings and the bill of quantities, which they're aiming to roll out to be tendered in the second week of June. The Emergency Medical Services Department at the JNF General Hospital began a comprehensive training course on pre-hospital emergency care on Tuesday. This course aims to enhance the skill sets of the EMS staff, enabling them to provide optimal care for patients under their supervision. The sessions are facilitated by Matthew Rolfe, a former paramedic from the United Kingdom and founder of EMS International. According to a statement, this training course represents the systemic and data-driven approach being demonstrated by the administration to improving pre-hospital emergency care. Mr. Rolfe stated, quote, "I'm here to help out and to hopefully help develop EMS services so that there is comparability with international emergency health services." End quote. While this course serves as a foundational program, the Ministry of Health remains dedicated to providing continuous opportunities for staff to further advance their knowledge and skills, the statement said. Over the course of 5 days, the training course will cover updated techniques and procedures in emergency care. This experience is expected to empower the 12 participants to handle various emergency scenarios effectively, equipping them with the necessary tools to address critical situations with confidence. Moving now to news on the regional scene, Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva has urged South American countries to defend their economic and cultural ties. But with Venezuelan President